So they contact sponsors themselves. They call the stores that, hey, we're doing this peace project in this school. Would you help us? Big part of actually the peace building actions is also contacting other people.
What can we learn from youth and youth workers? How can we support each other and become a better version of ourselves? This is the Source of Growth podcast, created by a Hungarian NGO, the Academy of Experience. I am Arpad Barnai, the host of the podcast. In the second part of our conversation, Pedram Aflatuni shared how they work with volunteering projects in Finnish schools, how integral part of the service project is discovering the real needs of people, and how they use social media and videos to highlight what they want to communicate. By communicating, I don't only mean sharing the project, but having a real impact in society. He tells a story about how they started a dialogue in Finland about the care for the elderly. We talked about how to show in media people who are vulnerable, who are in fragile situation in their lives, and he shared a concrete example in which a project aimed to prevent bullying. This concrete example even became an educational material for schools in Finland. We briefly go through how they facilitate the program of the Gutsy Go week, how they support students in dealing with rejection and failure during the project, and at the end of the episode he shared what kind of materials are available for coaches and teachers involved in the program. To make myself understand, you had the Forza experience with the statements of youth, and then you had the camp with this challenge, and then there was a third stage when you were invited again, do your thing, and then you combined the two and said, okay, you have this intense challenge, intervention, you have to figure out what you want to do, and you have to do it, and you recorded it, edited it, put it out there. You didn't push the youth. But then when they saw that, wow, this is celebrated and acknowledged, appreciated, pretty much what they are creating there, more and more wanted to take part. And now it's online.
Yeah.
And now you have the situation that kids come and they want to repeat and redo and do it better, what they've seen from other youth, their peers. Wow. I think it's a story worth telling. And I think it could work not only in Finland, just youth work done wisely. You mentioned some parts. Could you elaborate on that? What can we picture? What are these three projects you mentioned?
I mentioned seniors out, seniors outside, actually. This was the kind of project that the first observation was different. So it wasn't about the real need. How could they know? So their observation was that, okay, there is this kind of hospital, but it's for elderly who have some sort of physical challenges, and they have to stay there until they can continue their life. These youth thought that, okay, now it was again Christmas time, that these people don't have a great Christmas staying on those facilities with white walls and no one visiting them. Maybe their relatives are dead or live so far, or no one is coming there to see them, and maybe we need to go and organize a Christmas party to these elderly people there. So they went and they make presents, they make cake, they do all of these really, really cool things. One girl had a cello and one playing piano, and they play music there, and they go to everyone's room and give them a present and have a happy Christmas. And everyone is like, so nice to have this youth here, and we have a Christmas going on. But at some point, maybe the caretakers who work there said that, yeah, many of these elderly would like to go out, so would you have time to take them out? Because we don't have. That's the problem in that the whole field, that there's not enough workers in those organizations that they would have time to take them out. And it's a really hard thing when you have to do all of the stuff that is happening, and at the same time you would have to, like, wheelchairs take out and use so many hours. And so it might be that someone almost never gets to go outside. So the youth was like, yeah, okay, of course, we'll go out. And they took like 10 of the elderly people in a wheelchair and went on a walk. So there is this great video clip where they are like pushing the elderly in some forest environment. So they didn't only get them out, but they also bring them to like
outdoor experience.
For real, yeah, for real. So it's like crazy. They're pushing them all around. I don't know how many kilometers they push them around. And so at one point they go to a store. There's this one guy who is like making a joke to this other guy. You become like cocky that you don't even say hello to me and you don't even know me, this guy who was in a wheelchair. And the other guy's like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you. Hey, what's going on? Why are you are here outside? And this old guy is saying that, yeah, do you see these youngsters from the school? They took us out and, I haven't been outside for 4 months now. Yeah. So the youth that was holding this old guy was like, okay, so this means so much for you. And he's like crying, this old guy, and saying that, yeah, you don't have a clue how much this means to me. So this is like the one clip that went viral. Only we edited out only the part where the youth took the elderly outside, because for us as a media makers, we also want to show the real need. Because one thing that is really, really challenging is that when they do all of these acts of peace and they do so much, make cakes and Christmas presents and whatever, we have to choose what we show. So we are editing like really, really crazy of the acts that they're doing. So in the week that this project was made, we show the whole clip where is that the presents and the Christmas party and everything. There was just 1 minute outside. But after this week is over, we as media makers also have to think that, okay, what can we do about this? So my job in GutsyGo is I film a lot of projects. I go with the groups and I film those. And also I sometimes go with the groups and I coach them, help them with the idea and all that. And then I'm also editor. Then I also, fourth thing that I kind of do is that I also educate the teachers to do the GutsyGo week. So I have quite many hats in this movement that we do. But yeah, I was actually seeing that, okay, we should look into the raw material. Is there like something that is missing? Because this outside going thing is really, really interesting, of course, because that was so touching. The old guy was saying that he never gets out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going through the raw material and I realized that here is the real need, as you said. And that video actually, when we published on Facebook, so we publish to 3 different channels. We have TikTok, we have Facebook, and we have Instagram. Facebook has been maybe best for us before, but now TikTok is also going really greatly, because Facebook, we reach adults, and Instagram, something in between. But now in TikTok, the same video that I'm talking about right now, Seniors Outside, we made a TikTok version, and it has like something like 300,000 views in like 3 weeks. So when we published that before on Facebook, it had altogether 500,000 views, which is a lot in Finland. What happened after that? There was a nationwide discussion about the problem that these seniors don't get to go outside. So many people don't have the possibility, and that whole thing became a phenomena. There was like 5,000 or 8,000 comments in that video. It was so cool to see that this one small part of the original act became like everybody was saying that, what the hell, why don't these elderly get to go out? And why is this such a problem? So there was all professionals and those close ones of the elderly, and everybody was discussing about this problem. So
you started a nationwide discussion about the topic?
Actually, we didn't start it, but they started themselves. But yeah,
by just giving them a chance that they respond to a need they notice, and they started on their first track. But during the volunteering action, the service action, they noticed that there's a real need. They responded to it. And then that's what you shared. It's crazy because actually people notice that there's this real need, and it won't be answered only by the professional workers in the home, but it can be answered by youngsters, by kids. So something could be done.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to tell you that right now in TikTok, I thought that people wouldn't comment so much in TikTok, but actually, and yeah, there is 300,030 views, 750 comments right now in TikTok, and so many people are saying that, hey, this should be normal in schools. Like, it should be a part of school, that every now and then the youth goes to these elderly places and takes them out. They are like saying that this should be structural in school. And what is like really, really great idea.
Just a question there, sorry to interrupt, but you mentioned that you do piecework, and you mentioned that you work with communities, and also piecework means that anything that increases or generates positive interaction. And I got curious about the comments. You said you engage people online and there are more comments, there's more interaction. Do you see any difference in the type of comments or the kind of interaction that you have there? Because comment section is something that I myself try to avoid, because you might run into some violent stuff there or harmful stuff. So what do you see in the comment there? If there's anything you notice.
Do you want to compare Facebook and TikTok or in general?
In general, like what kind of interactions do you see if you provide this content?
That's a really great question, first of all, because it could go wrong. Like there is maybe only 1 or 2 videos that we have the comments off for some reason. I don't remember what's the reason, because we wanted to make sure that there's nothing.
Some abusive stuff?
Yeah, some really unwanted to that sensitive topic there was. But other than that, this TikTok lately, exactly this video that I was saying now is a good example. Everything is positive. Only one guy is saying maybe that this is fake and stupid. That's one. I have read all the comments, and there's like 1 negative out of 700 or 2 negatives. It's like so minimal. So at same thing in YouTube, and I think Facebook is almost 0 negative comments. So there's something weird happening, that when actually it's not so weird. If you see youth in that age, 14 to 15-year-old, and of course we need to be really careful how we edit these videos. So that is something that we really pay attention, that we first of all show respectful way. So for example, if we show homeless people, we will show them in a way that is respectful, and if we feel that something is not respectful, we will not show the person.
What I meet also, like when we work with disadvantaged youth and they have parts of their life that might trigger labeling or any kind of prejudice, we pay very close attention to showing them with respect and dignity, and also like that they are shown in a proper way.
Dignity is the word that I was looking for. Yeah, exactly. That's for us as a youth worker, as an educator, as a media makers, is like so important that we can keep the dignity of all of the subjects of the projects and the videos. So that is something that we really keep in mind. And one thing is also that when there is a group act, it's kind of bulletproof in a way, because so much in the media we talk about stories about one guy. But what in Gutsy Go we have always been cautious is that we don't want to give so much or put so much attention to just only one person. It's always a group effort. There is the coach, there is the school involved, the city involved. So when you see these videos, it's not so easy to pick on one person, because there is the whole group behind it.
Oh yeah.
But maybe only one time during our history, one youth wanted to remove one YouTube video. He was like, I don't want to be in that video because I had that time so much different hair and I don't like it anymore. And the youth can always ask us. Even they sign these contracts with us about the permission to be filmed with their parents. But if they would ask us that, hey, I don't want to be in this video anymore, we can always talk about it. So that's for us also really important. I don't know if there was these other projects that I mentioned, but I don't know.
That you mentioned other projects, and maybe while you recount the project, I think it's good to pick one of the projects and just go through like how to picture this. And especially if I'm a youth worker or a teacher and I want to copy what you do, you inspired me how to do this. And it could be that you just pick one example and guide us through.
I have to tell you one thing now that you mentioned this, is that everything, all of the ideas, these projects that the youth have made and we have made these videos of, everything is no copyright. Anyone can pick any of these ideas and go and do it. That's what we really hope for, because it's like no one's property. Even the idea would be original for that team, but anyone can use this. And we have also made a lot of material, educational material. Unfortunately, not yet so many of them are in English. But the next project that I'm going to tell you is one example that became also a kind of educational material for all the schools in Finland, and it has been used a lot. This is the project that was called the Teen Bully Experiment. This is not a new idea. It has been done before For example, in YouTube, you can find a couple of really, really viral examples of some adults going to test how other people react on bullying in a university. Or there is one other video where it's like kids are bullying each other in a bus stop, and this one guy who is reacting and stopping it. And these videos are really great, and they show the heart of another human who is like ready to put an end to it. So what happened in GutsyGo week with this teen bullying experiment project was that we have a lot of youth saying that we want to do something for bullying. And it's like impossible project in a way, because let's not even start to talk about bullying. How complicated to make a project yourself by yourself as a youth is a really, really hard challenge. How can we do something about it for real? But this group was actually going through a process that they first thought that let's go and interview people on the street. Like, what are they saying about bullying? How should they end it, and what should be done? So they go on the street and they interview a couple of people, let's say 10 people, and they come back with the videos they film themselves, and they ask permission, can it be used? And they come back with all those data, and we're watching those videos in that group. And
sorry, I have a question. So if I understand right, you go to a school and you say, this is a intervention week or GutsyGo week, and they get together in groups of 10 or 15?
Yeah, mostly 10 people.
10 people. And one of these groups have this idea of, okay, let's do something about bullying. And they have a coach with them?
Yes. Sorry, I need to explain a little bit about the GutsyGo week that I forgot. Yeah. The GutsyGo week happens in a way that it starts like everybody of the whole age group is going to one room. There's like intro music and intro video where there's videos of youth doing GutsyGo projects and wide short explanation what is GutsyGo, and like this grand opening for the week. Everybody's coming together and is really nervous, like what's going to happen. And they're divided to groups of 10, and to each group there comes their school's own teachers. Sometimes we might have youth workers from outside, or some of our team goes also to be a GutsyGo coach. So these teachers are educated in our GutsyGo coach education. It's 2 or 3 days. So they learn how to do the whole intervention and how they can use the GutsyGo method in the school after the intervention. Every team of 10 has their own coach. They are guided to go to some space what they have for the whole week, and the GutsyGo week starts. So first day is like building the team spirit, making an observation of the surrounding world. What is the problem that this team wants to have an effect, wants to grasp? And they're making call to action video together, like, hey, we are this and those people, and we want to have an effect on this. They might not in the first day even have a like idea of the solution. They need the observation, and they need to decide together as a group.
And they post this video? They post it
They don't
online?
post it online, no. These videos are shown. The first day ends, all of these groups come together again, like in the start of the day, to this big grand hall or some auditorium or someplace, and everyone is seeing all the groups' observations, these short call to action videos for like 10 to 15 seconds. Then they go home with the realization of all of these projects that's going to happen. And then the other day, they start to come up with the solution, what they're going to do, what's their action. So they have one day to make the action, kind of prepare, get sponsors, maybe contact some professionals that they want to collaborate with, sort everything out. And next day, third day, they already go and do it, act on it, make it happen. So all of that happens in 3 days.
Wow, so it's like there's a community building. I believe maybe they play some games, and all this is led by a teacher who is trained by you to become a GutsyGo coach. And then you send them to search for a need that they want to answer. And so they record this message, and everyone listens to each other's message and then just digests the whole thing. And then they come back the third day and they do stuff. And do they change I can imagine that I have my first idea, but after listening to others, I change my mind and do different stuff. Does it happen?
Yeah, a lot. Many times. For example, there is 2 observations that are really common. The elderly are alone, and the children needs to be played with. So
just a sec. For the past 10 years, every year we do our volunteering project. It's a different setup, but it's similar in some sense that we bring youth together, but it's not in schools, and it's more a camp-like stuff. And then we ask them, okay, who do you want to help, or what do you want to do? And then they go and they plan, and then they realize, and then we celebrate. Every time children are involved, someone should play with the children, and this I think it's great. They learn a lot.
That's really cool to hear. Yeah, we have exactly the same. But it's elderly and children. I think maybe we have elderly more than children. Yeah, because elderly is the most common, that they instantly realize that the elderly are alone and we need to go and do something with them. So that's the most common observation. But when they hear, like, for example, if there is like a school where is like 100 people, so there is 10 groups of 10. If we hear in the call to action meeting that, okay, 5 groups are about to do an elderly project. Usually 2 or 3 of those groups say that, hey, everyone else is doing this too, so we want to change. So they might change their subject or the whole idea. So that's pretty normal what happens. They come up with a new idea, and Wednesday they go to do something else that they were supposed to in Monday. And also, like, it's so hard to make this thing happen so fast. So if in Tuesday they might come up with the situation that, okay, we can't get this subject, they don't have time to do it right now, so they might also have to change their idea also almost before Wednesday.
And how do you deal with the question of resources? If they need to have some material or some money, how do you deal with that?
Good question. Nowadays everything is like zero budget. So when we started this Gutsy Go, like previous first demo ideas, we were putting some money to some projects. For example, these projects need that and these need that, but that's not like a economical solution, and it's impossible in the long run. Also, in those first weeks there was almost half of the groups or even more, they did this that they do now. So they contact sponsors themselves. They call the stores that, hey, we're doing this peace project in this school, would you help us? And they might go into the store, and they might go into some companies and ask something. And so, so big part of actually the peace building actions is also contacting other people, like cooperation and getting sponsors. And maybe they go to the school's principal that, hey, can the school afford to buy this and that? And everything is happening kind of organic and economical.
That's just crazy. I love this. Like, you involve other people and you engage them by just inviting them to contribute to something that's meaningful, and it seems to work.
But I have to say that it's not so easy to get those sponsors. Sometimes the youth might make 20 or 30 calls.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask, like, how do you support them with the experience of not succeeding, not getting the support?
I think that's a really, really great question. And one of our strengths is that we have those videos of the previous youth doing the same thing. So in Tuesday, we always watch this. Tuesday is also starting so that everyone comes together. We have certain things. We have this quick filming education, because I didn't mention yet that all of the videos are filmed by the youth and also by the coach. And in some projects, we might have an outside filmer like me or someone else who is coming to film. So it really depends. We drop every now and then like more filming power there and there. So we teach them really quickly how Gutsy Go films should be used. So Tuesday morning, they also see this one video that is called Ode to Courage. It's Finnish name, Ode sisukkuudelle. In that video, we show the process, what has happened before. Like, it starts when like raw footage of youth doing these projects. So they're calling to so many places, and no, okay, when is this going to happen? The adults is asking. And the youth is saying, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow? Oh, what are you thinking? Like, and people are always, we are laughing for this, because it's like the fast pace is always like, okay, when should it happen? Now. So it's like, it's for the adults. We always say that the ones who are a barrier for the peace projects are the adults, because they are not ready to do these things so quickly. And I don't blame them. Of course, they have all schedules, and they say that, hey, send us email and we will reply. But that's something that we cannot do. We have to always call, because it's happening tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So we just have to work with them who has the time. So in this Ode to Courage video, they see the process of the youth. They see when they're calling and there's so many calls that don't work. And all of a sudden, someone says yes. We tell them the story that there's always someone who is willing to say yes. We just have to look for it. And when the coaches are educated, we also tell that you need to stand behind the youth. Maybe first you need to call yourself, because nowadays kids don't maybe call so much.
So they show them by example how it looks like, this calling someone.
They might make the first call, like, yeah, we are here with the youth, this Gutsy Go project, and we're doing this and that. And if the sponsor says no, then they're, hey, Rosa, would you like to make the next call? And then they encourage them, and some point one youth comes and makes the call, and then they get more and more courage. And even it's hard, they build up the strength. And sometimes some sponsor says immediately yes.
This reminds me of a lot of things. One is that when we bring youngsters to forest, for example, and we give them responsibility, it's really good to prepare them somehow so they learn from their mistakes, and also like they learn from examples of others. So they see you doing stuff, then it's easier to repeat. And the other thing is that learning from mistakes and failing forward. So not being inhibited or stopped by any failure, but seeing it as a chance. Okay, what do I learn? How to keep on going? And giving this example by making me the phone call and showing that it's survivable, it's a normal thing. Also, the videos you use for this educational purpose, wow, that's so great.
Yeah.
Actually, I just want to highlight, you are doing kind of like a small piece of psychoeducation and good example of regulating your emotions and handling hard stuff under pressure.
You're right. There's so much going on in this Gutsy Go week that's why it's really hard to explain. Like you said now, there is so many different challenges and different even psychological things happening.
A lot of stuff, like we mentioned, just like emotional regulation, video creation stuff. So you have some free materials on your homepage in Finnish on these topics, or how you prepare your coaches and people.
You mean about the coach training for everybody?
Yeah, coach training and for everybody, both. I'm asking, like, what are the materials about?
So we have in Finnish page, of course, we have a lot of stuff for everybody to use. Yeah, I was explaining before about the teen bully experiment. So it was made after the project finished. It was made educational material for all the schools to use, and we sent the material to all Finnish schools. Every school will get it, and also, of course, they will find it from our web page. So there is like materials for schools. You can go at it. On English page, I don't know if there is yet, but we need to work on that too. So anyone can use this educational material that we update and bring available, and then anyone can use the ideas of the videos. So we have this kind of Gutsy flicks in our website where you can watch most of the peace project videos, and English site is also quite many of them. So you will see the idea is explained in text, so you can also really easily get the idea and like go do that project on your own if you want. That's available for anyone.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you found our work useful and inspiring, you can follow us by clicking on the links in the description. If you would like to support us, you can also do that by giving us feedback, recommending our work to others, or sending donations. As an NGO, we are grateful for any type of support. Take care, live well. We hope to see you again.